Hello, everybody. Starting this full week of school after Easter break, where we had 2 half weeks, we are going to be working on religion together on Monday and Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you have some prayer opportunities that I hope that you um, take the time to sit down and do, because that's an important part of our lives, especially since we're at home and we can't go to Mass. So we are going to focus on finishing up Jesus's journey. You have finished your Jesus Tree book and you have finished your Stations of the Cross book. So we've gone through Jesus's whole life. We learned about what it was like to live in Nazareth and being an Israelite back at the time of Jesus. So we're going to finish up. Our last activity is going to be a review activity of the places that Jesus would have traveled and spent time in during his life. So we have a small map of Israel here, and we've looked at all these places before. We know that the Mediterranean Sea is over here, and this is Israel, and then Egypt is down here to the southwest. We also know that this is the Dead Sea. We know this is the Jordan River. We have the Sea of Galilee up here, and that Egypt is important because that's where Joseph took Mary and Jesus. And then we have the other cities that he might have taken time to be in as he traveled during his public ministry time. I wouldn't really call them cities. They're all very small towns, but other than Jerusalem was a large city, but the rest were small. So I guess I should say towns. All right, so I'm going to read the question. You read along with me. We're both going to write our answer, and then we're going to see how you did. All but one of them should be, well, two of them should be super, super review. You should remember these super well. The other two, you probably have to think a little bit. So number one, place of Jesus' birth. All right, I'm going to write that down. Did you write Nazareth? Good job. Number two, where Joseph took Mary and Jesus to protect them from Herod. That one's an easy one too. I'm writing it down. You should be writing it down. Egypt. Very good. Okay. The city where Jesus spent his early childhood in the Holy Family. They traveled back to this place. Oh, boys and girls, I was getting ahead of myself. Number one should be Bethlehem, of course. What was I thinking? This one, 3, should be Nazareth. Oh, I'll bet you were like, Mrs. Gary, that was a mistake. And hopefully you knew that one too. Number 4, what was the name of the river where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist? We know that was the Jordan River. Number 5, city of Jesus' first miracle at the urging of his mother Mary. That is the second luminous mystery that we've also learned about. So we know that that's the wedding feast at... Did you write Cana? Good job. Number 6, this is the toughie. Where Jesus' friend Lazarus, brother of Martha and Mary, was raised from the dead. And you did do the activity reading and reflection in your Jesus Tree book about the raising of Lazarus. So hopefully you remember that was in Bethany, a very small town not too far away from Jerusalem. And then we have the city where Jesus spent his final week of Passover and the end of his human life here on earth. Would be a very large city called Jerusalem. And then number 8 is the location of Jesus' ascension into heaven. That wasn't in your Jesus Tree book or in your Stations of the Cross book, so that is one you wouldn't know. And that's taking us into the next things that we're going to study about what Jesus did while he was here on earth after his resurrection, but before his ascension. And then the last part that we're going to talk about is the beginning of the church, which is Pentecost. So Mount of Olives takes us into the next section of our religion learning. Mount of Olives. All right, if you got behind on any of those, remember you can play the video back or pause. Hopefully you paused as you went. I'm going to have you take a picture that you did it. You do not need to color the map. You do need to turn in the page with your name on it at our next turn-in date so that I can check off that you did it. All right, see you tomorrow to talk about our apostles.